Hey everyone, good afternoon. Get ready for some big changes to our weather pattern as we wrap up the work week, go through this holiday, and then into the weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center, and we're about to do a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. More lightning risk has returned to the forecast, and that's going to come with some thunderstorms, not just tomorrow, but tonight as well. All of that before clearing, sunshine, and heating. So let's start off with where we're sitting right here, right now, across Central Oregon. Several of these cameras show that there are some clouds, most of them off in the distance. Some of them have precipitation, and even the cloud from the Bachelor camera just over Tumalo Mountain, you can actually see a little bit of virgo right there, which is rain that's falling and evaporating before it reaches the surface. At this time, this image, it's way before it reaches the surface. The Grizzly Mountain camera is focused in on the burn scar from the Grizzly Flat fire, which did get up to 496 acres according to some reports. And as far as the last time I looked, there weren't any evacuation notices left in place. We can go ahead and take a look at that real quick. Let me just pull in a different graphic and we can zoom in and see if there are any evacuation notices. Like I said, last I checked, they were all expired, and that was from the Oregon Department of Emergency Management. That's where I get my information from. And right now you can see where that burn scar is. You can see some of the hot spots that are there, but we do not see any more evacuations in place. Now, altogether, we are looking at some bigger changes through the next couple of days. But when we just start off focusing on our air quality from eSpace and the DEQ, that orange dot right there just to the east of Madras, that's where this Grizzly Flat fire was. And we don't see too much of an impact when it comes to air quality. Both the hourly average and those real-time sensors from the eSpace labs here in Bend are all showing green. Good air quality, but it is something we're continuing to track. And when it comes to smoke coming off of that fire and other fires across the state, it looks like we could be impacted a little bit, but just not too much. All the little flames that you see on the map, that's where some fires are. And here through the overnight hours, or the rest of today and the overnight hours, some pockets of reduced air quality are possible, but it's really not going to get too bad. Then by Friday morning, a little bit more of that haze and smoke settling into the area, and that's going to be as our next front is pushing through. One of them already rolled through. That's what did produce some shower and thunderstorm activity well to our south and a little bit to our east. But for the most part, these showers and thunderstorms are staying out of the high desert. It looks like earlier today there were a few sprinkles rolling through parts of Jefferson and Crook County, but well to the east of the 97 corridor. When we look at the bigger picture, cold front number 1's rolling out. Cold front number 2 is still well out over the Pacific. So let's go ahead, switch gears, look at infrared satellite imagery with an enhancement on it and pressure. Those pressure lines are equal lines of pressure, and those are called isobars. When they start to tighten up like they're doing this afternoon over the Cascades and through Central Oregon, that's when we're looking at winds that are becoming breezy. So outside of a few clouds that as of right now aren't producing any rain, we're not seeing too much over the high desert, and these are some of the clouds you can see way off in the distance. Looking at the bigger picture, there's a very broad and strong ridge over high pressure out over the Pacific Ocean. That comes into play on Saturday, but between now and then, starting tonight, going through tomorrow, this cold front up here, its parent low is a low that's over the Gulf of Alaska, and there's a front stretch right offshore from Canada and the Pacific Northwest. This is what rolls through tonight, transitions to a low pressure, continues to impact us through tomorrow. This is why we're expecting rain tonight. Scattered showers will be off and on with some lightning possible, but the better chance of thunderstorms is going to hold off until tomorrow afternoon. So let's go ahead and time it out. Let's look at one of your forecast models. This is the high resolution forecast model. You see clouds and rain. When you start to see some of those cells that are yellow, orange, red, that's where the potential of thunderstorm activity is. And also on there, those lines that are moving, those are winds. We're looking at direction and velocity right there. So winds are going to be breezy through this evening. In and out clouds are expected tonight. After midnight, some showers start to develop and roll through the high desert. Notice that we do see some of those brighter colors. The potential for lightning is there through the early morning hours until about sunrise, and after sunrise, periods of clearing, but by the afternoon, that convective potential is still going to be there. And so that means we have scattered showers with the potential of some thunderstorms developing. It's something we're going to be tracking very closely through Friday, and then by Saturday, tons of sunshine. Now, when it comes to relative humidity, we are still very dry in the 20s and teens when it comes to percentage values. And through the next couple of days, it's going to change tomorrow and improve a little bit, but by this weekend we're drying out even quicker. So in the last 24 hours, temperatures topped out in the 70s with some 80s on the map. Right now, that's pretty much where we're sitting, 70s and some 80s. This represents a 1 to 7 degree drop in temperatures as of right now. Earlier today, it was 2 to 12 degrees cooler. And here through the rest of this evening, temperatures fall back through out of the 70s through the 60s and into the 50s. Some 40s are expected overnight for lows, but look at tomorrow. We're topping out in the 70s. We have that chance of rain. We have that potential of thunderstorm activity. So not only are temperatures falling into the 70s, but it's dropping our UV intensity forecast. I could actually go moderate on this, but there's going to be some times of clearing during the late morning and midday hours. Some of us could still catch the short window of high UV intensity and then back to moderate and even low. And after that, it cranks up for the weekend. So keep your sunglasses handy until that rain turns back on. But you know what? Keep them around anyways. If you're spending a lot of time outside, if thunder roars, go indoors. If when we get to the weekend, you're spending a lot of time outside, make sure you're reapplying that sunscreen, seek the shade when appropriate, and always, always, always hydrate. Now, this unsettled pattern is going to continue here through the next couple of days. Tomorrow we get showers, some thunderstorms expected with clearing late. That clearing is going to line up just in time for some of those professional fireworks shows across the high desert. But by Saturday, we're back under a ridge of high pressure. This high over the Four Corners region is nudging back into the Pacific Northwest. That's bringing us tons of sunshine, a super dry air mass, and quick warming. That warming takes us from lower to mid 80s Saturday to mid to upper 80s and some 90s by Sunday, and the heating doesn't stop there. So for Independence Day, it's going to be breezy. We've got showers, we've got thunderstorms, and there's going to be a bigger dip in temperature, so we've got cooling. 70s and about 10 degrees below average for this time of the year, but by Saturday that turns around, tons of sunshine, a light breeze, and temperatures cranking, heating up well into the mid to upper 90s by the time we get to Monday and Tuesday. Few more changes after that, but we'll get to it in the 7-day planner. Our forecast model does show that here, this is a different forecast model, not as high resolution as the one I already showed you. Shows overnight scattered showers are expected with the potential of some thunderstorms, and then by Friday we get those periods of clearing early. Then PM showers, some thunderstorms once again. These are going to be the stronger cells when and if they develop. By Friday night, really by Friday evening, we clear out, and then tons of sunshine is expected Saturday. More sunshine Sunday, and by Sunday evening, it's still mostly clear. But starting at that time, going through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we switch gears a little bit. We're looking at the GFS. This is a forecast model that's long range, nowhere near high resolution, especially further out in the 7-day planner, but it helps paint a picture of what's going to happen when we get there. By Sunday, sunshine. By Monday, still sunshine, some light clouds. And then by Tuesday, in and out afternoon clouds are expected. Notice there was a blip of green on there. There's a chance of some showers to develop, and any showers that develop, we're going to be tracking for thunderstorm potential. And what's happening Tuesday and Wednesday is our dome of high pressure is flattening a little. It's weakening, and what that means for us is it opens a door for convection. So we have that chance Tuesday, we have that chance Wednesday. With Wednesday, we have that chance Wednesday as well. And with Wednesday's chance of thunderstorms, it's going to be a little higher, then high pressure builds back in. Now, when it comes to future precipitation between now and Saturday 11 p.m., we're getting wet. Most of that happens tonight and Friday. Meanwhile, winds are 10 to 15 miles per hour for most of the high desert. Not too bad. Those are just gusts. Actual wind speeds are more like 2 to 12 miles per hour through the Tri-County area. But here during the next couple of hours, we are getting breezy through the afternoon, getting into the evening hours as winds swing around to the north. After that, a light breeze. By Friday afternoon and evening, breezy again. If thunderstorms develop, stronger gusts are expected around those thunderstorms. Then by Saturday, 2 to 12 miles per hour, back to a light breeze across the high desert. Let's talk temperatures. Tonight, 50s and some 40s. Scattered showers, some thunderstorms. Friday, 70s, a few 80s. This is well below that average high of 84, 85 degrees across central Oregon, and we throw in that chance of thunderstorm activity. But by Saturday, we clear out. We get that sunshine, we start heating up, and we're going to be in the 90s, mid-90s from Monday through Thursday of next week. Tuesday and Wednesday are our best chance of a little convection. My money's on Wednesday, but it could be happening on Tuesday as well. All right, so that is the latest in weather. Let's take one more quick look at your headlines for this Thursday, July the 3rd. Cooler with showers, some thunderstorms Friday, elevated fire danger, then bringing the heat as we go through this weekend. And these showers are something we really need because we have very dry conditions across the Pacific Northwest, and we've had very little in the way of precipitation at all. And that brings us to today's drought monitor. This is what it looked like last week. This is what it looks like this week. Not too much in the way of change. You see they added the reds up towards Missoula, Hamilton, so Idaho and Montana, but over the high desert, it's much the same. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. I'll do my best to get to them here through this evening. But we are going to be live for Munchin Music in Drake Park and Bend, and that's going to be pretty fun. So if y'all are out there, come say hi. But that is it for now. We'll talk to you later.